And here we are jumping right into section 3 of this one. Hasn't been very long this morning. The gray parts I just put on are mostly dry. Some of the thicker parts are still a little wet, and that's totally fine. I am switching to a foam brush on a stick to do some of the more background and distant trees. I've added black acrylic to my styrofoam plate palette. I'm just going to pick up some of this black paint and put in some trees, and it'll be much easier to see these as we go. So maybe we'll have our first tree. Where's our first tree live today? How about our first tree live right back here, right there. That'll just kind of give us our first one. Trees are typically fatter on the bottom than they are in the middle or the top. Sometimes that's a struggle for me. So just have a tree there, pull in another tree here. And we're going to change the color as I move away from the middle here. And we'll have some be getting taller as they come towards us a little bit. And we'll have a bunch of them, and maybe some will be joined up like that. But I think if it hasn't turned into a forest yet for you, I'm hoping it has just now happened, now that we've got a couple of actual tree trunks in here. So now don't forget this is a forest, so let's not make them all just look like they're fixing to be telephone poles in their next part of their time here on planet Earth with us. Got a little shake in your hand. You're going to make the most beautiful trees and tree limbs ever. You'll be so well thought of in your painting circle. Now, before we get too far, I'm going to switch over and use just an old cheapy, came in a package with a bunch of script liner brushes. This one's kind of a flat tip. It's been used many, many times in many classes. They're so cheap. You get acrylic paint like this in your paintbrush, let it dry at all, and that brush is done. So I like to use old cheapies or a piece of sponge I'll use here in a minute to do some leaves on this side of some of these trees. Anyway, just added some water, thinned down this acrylic paint, real thin, real thin, real thin, so it'll flow right off the brush and it'll dry real fast. But this will let us put in some main kind of tree trunk branches and the like off of some of these trees. I've got another smaller script liner, cheapy brush that I'll use to put in a few more details. We don't have to put in tons of details on these real far away ones. We just want to put in some tree limbs and branches. It just helps add these layers of detail that start just telling our forest and our brain what's happening here. So you've seen a tree. If you haven't, look one up online, walk outside. You know what a tree looks like. Go for it. Don't think about it. Just do it. You'll have branches coming off of front side of the tree, back side of the tree. I'm telling you, just go for it. Your brain knows what a tree looks like. You pretty soon cannot tell which tree a particular branch belongs to. Does it take a little practice? Sure. But if you don't start, you won't get there. So just practice. Do something. Have something go this way. Do you see how many branches I got out of that one load on the brush? See, just don't overthink it. Just go for it. And if you are overthinking it, do the left hand trick. You say, Dan, I'm not going to try that with my left hand. Okay. Don't. I'm not telling you things you have to do. I'm making suggestions. Because if you're here watching this video, my guess is you either want to know how to do this or you enjoy watching it. So whatever the case is, I want you to know what's happening. And I'd love for you to try something that you feel passionate about. Because if you could do something that makes you feel on the inside the way I do when I paint, oh, that's a happy, happy place. So I'm hoping you have that in your life. Because there's plenty of darkness and sadness. If you haven't had your share of that, I'd love to tell you it's never going to come to you. That just hasn't been my life experience thus far. So I hope you have great people around you, so when that day comes, they're there to catch you, because oftentimes there aren't going to be words. There aren't going to be words. Alrighty, so let's put some leaves on this side of some of these trees. Not a lot, not crazy. I don't want to block off everything there. I just want to give it the idea. It's kind of the far off in our woods. So I'm going to take just a cut off piece of natural foam sponge. I pick these up wherever I find them cheap. Garage sale, thrift store, every now and then at the art store or big box store, but only if they're on sale. I mean, these come out of the ocean, for crying out loud, so the fun is in the harvesting them, I think, not in the actual product itself, or at least the cost of it. So I'm just going to touch into a little bit of that black paint. Might get a little gray on it. It's totally fine with me if this is got a few different colors in it. I do like to put my sponge like this in water, just so it's a little bit more workable. It picks up a little bit of just helps some of that paint thin down just ever so slightly. Again, I don't need this part to be gigantically thick. I'm just giving us the idea of another layer of some under canopy here in our forest without totally blocking everything off or making it feel like it's right on top of us already. That's all. That's all. Don't overthink it, man. I hesitate to try to put into words sometime what's going on in my little brain while I paint, because I don't want it to sound complicated, because I really don't think very much when I paint. I got to tell you, I just don't. I'm going to put a few here. Just the idea. See, it doesn't take much, does it? It's just something to interrupt those couple of branches. Just puts a nice little layer on it, where we'll cover some of this up anyway as we go. Let's get a little foliage down here on the ground, just securing it in some foots. It's going to feel a whole lot more planted to our picture, so we're ready for our next layer of trees. Now, if you're doing this for the first time at home, you do not have to, well, you don't have to do anything, but you don't have to stop between each step. You don't have to do this big a canvas. My gosh, you do it however you want it. I would just encourage you to just go for it. Whatever you're going to do it quickly. If you start overthinking it, oh, hear that as the danger signal. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, danger. Just go with speed. Go with speed so you can just start getting some comfort. You'll feel it happen in your hand, and oh, that's such a good feeling. It just starts making so much more sense. It did for me. It did for me. So those are the kind of things I'm hoping are helpful. So let's kind of roll out to some lighter color, and we can still use that same foam brush. We can probably get away with that. So we're going to pick up some gray and just kind of be working out a little bit. So I've got some black and some gray in here. I'm fine that it has both colors. We're just going to pull in a few more trees. Let some of them get a little bit bigger as we go. So let's start getting a little bit fatter tree. Oh, there's a nice big strong one, isn't it? That's a good one. Who knows if those are looking too straight? Well, maybe one of them has a little branch that kind of is a little bolder, splits off that way. Well, that just took care of that second tree feeling like it was right on top of us, didn't it? And we'll just make that one work. That's what we do. So now we're going to have one coming in that way. Does it feel like the woods to you a little bit yet? I hope so. Maybe this one got a little challenged as it got started in life and got a little bendy off track to the left and curve back up towards the light as its days have transpired. Who knows what its story is? Who knows? Make that stuff up in your head. I don't know what the story is in your painting. You tell it. You tell that story. How cool is that? There's lots of people that want to hear it, so you tell that story. I'm one of them. I'd like to hear that story. Cool. So we'll keep right on going. That's working so well. I'm going to slide right over into some white paint and start really lighting this up, because this will really start taking some cool color if we decide to put color oil on it when we're done. Even if we don't, this will still look super cool just as a black and white. So I really enjoy these paintings. It's like we've kind of come into this little cove area in the woods to me. I just love the way that feels. Let's back up a little bit. This wide one, it gets a little challenging to see when you're too right on top of it. So I do have to keep an eye on the clock because I am going to work with a friend today. Buddy of mine is an incredible commercial painter, and he is in very high demand. And I have the great fortune of being able to say yes to when he needs a hand on a job site for a few days a week, thankfully, with the flexibility in my current schedule. Now, let me tell you something. There is so much more that goes on behind the scenes to make a new house look the way it does from a construction standpoint. I'm not just talking about painting. I'm talking about all the different trades that come in. My gosh. It's really quite an orchestrated dance, man. It's an impressive thing to watch and get to be there for. So anyway, let's keep going. I'm gonna thin down a little gray paint, a little white paint. Funny thing is, the gray and the white don't thin down as well as the black does, but that's okay. We can still work with it. Just thin it down real good. I've switched over to that other little cheapy script liner brush that came with that first flat one. Just does a little bit different shape branch. I actually like the flat one better once I get it rolling well in my hand. But not always the case. Sometimes they look like corn stalks. See, that one just goes right in the garbage. Don't stress over a brush that's misbehaving. Sometimes if it's a good brush, I'll keep it and have a detention session with it, and we'll keep it after class and see about getting it back on its straight and narrow. Every now and then I will grab one of my good script liner brushes, and we'll just have it join the team of acrylics, and knowing that we may have just sacrificed it not to paint with oil again. Sometimes that's necessary just to have the brush behave, but don't stress, like I said. So we'll just change a few of these and a few of those. Just getting some branches on here. Don't overthink it. You won't be able to see many of these. Pull from the side on a few of them. Make it look like they're coming from the back of the tree. Just little things, little tips and tricks like that. You'll see some of those. Just let them happen. So if you just look at it for a second, sometimes even just close your eyes and paint it. Your brain knows, man. Your brain knows. It's somehow in the going from our brain down to our hand, we try to grab control of it. And man, that has not worked in my life. I don't know if that's something that has actually worked for you. But when I think I've got it all figured out, in control of everything, boy, I get a bowl of humble soup from somewhere in my life. Some of those lessons have been extremely painful, expensive in some cases, financially even, and certainly difficulty on the emotional side of that, my goodness. Not made a secret of the challenges I've brought upon myself in life and where I currently find myself in a relationship standpoint. And it's heartbreaking that we're here at the termination of a long marriage. 27 years, man. She's a wonderful mom, wonderful person, great at what she does. We are just not good together any longer. Where exactly when we came off those rails? Gosh, a long time ago. A lot of my drinking ago. Unfortunately, drinking is no longer part of my life, but it is. We are too far beyond reconciliations, down to making last decisions and separating things, and this is in your name and that's in mine. And, well, that sucks. That's about how I can describe that to you. Told you, start making them look like a corn cob, a corn stalk if you're not careful. That's what I tend to do anyway. Anyway, but we're not stressing about the branches. We're just getting branches on here so we can keep moving forward. Let them shake. Let that brush dance in your hand. Don't worry about it. Make sure and let some cross to the next tree. I'll need those to happen. Have some come from off the canvas. Just because our canvas ran out of mojo over here of capturing this beautiful scene doesn't mean the scene stopped. Some people like to paint their sides of their canvas. I generally don't. There certainly isn't a right or wrong in that, in my opinion. You do what you like. The brush stuck in my fingers and can't let it roll out. That happens sometimes. That's okay. All right. Oh, got some on that side. My goodness, this is a big canvas. By letting some of those underlayers dry, we get to have those branches really layer up. If we hit some wet part of that dark with this light, it'll just merge. It's okay. That'll look cool too, but it just depends on what you're wanting it to do. About the thing to look out for there. But again, practice this. I don't do canvases this big very often, and really for no other reason. They take a lot of space to store. They take a lot longer to complete than I normally like to paint. I like to paint for about a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour in some of my videos, maybe just over an hour every now and then, and then I'm done. I need it out of my head, on the wall, or onto a new home. So that's about how long my attention span is with a painting, and that's just how I'm wired. So again, I don't think one's right, one's wrong. Just that's my preference. I'm just sharing with you, being honest, and how things happen for me. And it changes from time to time on how long I can keep an attention span going for where we're at. Let's take a step back. You saw it just happen there. Boy, I get a little impatient and ready to go. Okay, let's throw some tree, kind of some foliage up there, and we're going to have to call it for this session, I think. Let me see what time we're at. Almost 20 minutes on this. Yeah, I'm going to have to call this to go get after some work this morning. So we're going to do some little bit of foliage coming forward, a little bit of ground foliage. Then when we come back for the next session, we'll figure out what we're doing coming this way. So let's, again, we've got our slightly dampened sponge, a little bit of gray, a little bit of black. We're just going to just put in a few. Just a few. Just closing in the tops a little bit, setting in some of those branches. If I go too crazy on this, I'm really going to make this feel closed. and very dark. And that's not the intention here, not my plan anyway. Just tucking in some of these trees. Hope that's coming across in the video feel. Help. For me, it helps kind of make sense of some of the tree tops. I like to kind of cover them a little bit, plant some in there. And I'm going from furthest away. What's coming towards us is the feel. So anything we're putting on this side of the tree is going to feel closer to us as we're coming. Boy, I like these colors on this sponge. That's nice. That's real nice. A little bit more gray. I did sneak a little white in there. That's probably too bright for right there. So we'll adjust our hand. Come back with a little gray paint in a minute. It may also pick up a little bit of that paint underneath it and darken on its own. So don't you worry. Don't you worry, buddy. Don't you worry. Just do a few. See what you get. That's doing what you like. Cool. Knock off a little bit of that gray paint. Pick up a little more white so we can kind of transition out here to a few brighter leaves catching more light. They'll actually darken out here. It's really going to be cool when we get out here. This is just such fun. Keep those leaves going off the canvas. Don't want to just block it in and get square on me. I tend to do that. See how that line started? I just have to be aware when I do that. Come back and interrupt it a little bit. See, it just completely adjusts it. All right, well, we're going to put in some ground foliage there. We can do that really with whatever we want. I mean, sometimes I don't like that answer because I don't know what I want. And I'd like to have just a choice or two because whatever I want is always available to me. And my historical choice track record has not been making the great choices when Dan's in charge of all of that. So what can we do? What do we mean? Well, I'm going to use this big foam brush, same one we put the branches in. Are we going to have a path in this one? I don't know. Let's see if we like one. So let's just kind of scratch in a little bit of a path. We don't have to have it come all the way down our painting, but we can have a path just start kind of coming this way a little bit. That could be cool. All right, so we'll have a little path for a little while. Let's go back in. I've got my sponge. Let's adjust our hand position with the sponge a little bit. We'll just kind of get some ground foliage in front of this tree and just on this back side of this path, just so it's in there. And we'll finish tucking that in with the oil paints when we get there. We're certainly not trying to paint the finished product, but we're just getting a few things, kind of just starting to let it develop. So plant a few more of these tree foots, have some bushes grow up around them. See how amazing that is? You just need a little something on this side of it. Just tucks it right into your painting for you. See, we'll have something come down towards the path on this side. Make sure we got our tree foots planted in real nice. See, I like the roots, the gnarliness of that tree trunk there, so I don't want to cover all that up with black paint. Be able to see through some of those lighter colors on your tree trunk, and man, that just looks fantastic, I think. That doesn't pitter-patter your heart, then you do it a different way. That's totally fine. There are a number of different ways. All right, we're going to call a pause right there. Here's 24 minutes into this section, and I'm hoping you're digging this. I'm having a ball doing it. And I'll see you when I get to press record. Talk to you soon.